नहमदुहु व नुसल्ली अला रसूलिल करीम औज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू everyone.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, once again with the extreme mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we are here. So today we are going to cover verse number 60. It is a long verse, but inshallah we'll break it down in smaller chunks, and by the time we finish it, inshallah you'll have a good understanding of this verse. So we're still on the topic of Bani Israel, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is narrating that what favors he has bestowed upon them, right? So do you remember what we talked about last time? That they were supposed to enter this town, and they were supposed to say something and supposed to behave a certain way, and they changed it, and then because of that they were entitled for the punishment from the sama, from the sky, riches, right? Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about how many sons Hazrat Ayyub alayhi salam had.
9.
5? I think he had 12 sons, remember?
12.
And his laqab was Israel, right?
Yeah.
So, and Israel, we know that means Abdullah, like a slave of Allah in the Hebrew language, I believe. So these 12 sons, they become like 12 tribes, because like each son representing a family or a group of people, right? So, and you know, they were expelled from Misr because they left Misr as they were fleeing from Firaun, right? And when and they had to for 40 years they were, where were they? In nowhere. Remember that part?
Yeah, 40
and they were provided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the manu salwa, right? So this is the situation where they were asking for water. Yeah. So they were asking for water from Musa, and then so this is the story of how Musa alayhi salam, how they got the water. Yeah, I'm sure you're familiar with this, but this is the verse which talks about that, right? So I know that we can look at the tafsir later, but let me just, this is how I do it. I duplicate the tab, and then I go tafsir. Yeah. So on one tab, I have the actual verses, and on the second tab, I have the tafsir. I can hide this, and then I can go and look for that verse. Okay. Mine is going to be right here. Yeah. So, and 12 spring gush forth. That's the topic of this verse. How many sons? 12.
12.
How many springs? 12. Why? Why 12? So that they don't fight over each other. You know, they don't fight over the water. As you can tell by now, these were not very easygoing people. They were very difficult people. Correct?
Yeah.
So, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wa idhis taka Musa liqaumihi faqul nadrib bi asakal hajr. So, and when asked for water, istasqa is when somebody asks for water. Who do they ask? Musa. Who asked? His people, right? Fakul nadrib bi asakal hajr. So we said, strike with your staff. Asa kya hota hai? Lathi, danda jaisa. Usko maro patthar par. Fan fajarat min husnata ashrata ayna. Husnata ashra, 12. Ayna, springs. Okay. Now look at the word fan fajarat. And when we say it's fajr time, basically what time is it?
Early in the
Morning.
When the day is coming out of the night.
Sun is coming.
Yes. तो फन फजर का मतलब होता है फाड़ना, चीर के निकलना, जैसे कि हम उर्दू में अगर उसे बताएं, तो उसमें से क्या हुआ? पत्थर में से 12 चश्मे फूट निकले. Basically, they just, they gush out. So you can, the word gushing mean something just came out involuntarily, and when it's coming out of a stone, basically that there will be pressure, right? So there 12 spring gush forth. What else? Qad alima kullu unasim mashrabahum. So what happened? Because of that, since there were 12 nations or 12 tribes and there were 12 springs, they kind of know which belongs to them. So they kind of said, this is mine, and this is mine. Yeah.
Yes.
So that they go to their destined spring so that their family or their people, they drink from that. Mashrabahum, mashroob. What is mashroob? Mashroob is a drink. Sharaba is the act of drinking. So mashrabahum is the place of drinking, their place of drinking, right? And then what is the command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Kulu washrabu mir rizqillahi. So khao, then eat and drink from the provision of Allah. Wala ta'saw fil ardi mufsidin, and do not act wickedly in the earth and spreading corruption. Are we good so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So the translation is and recall. So basically, what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doing? He's narrating the tales of Bani Israel, that what he did for them in the past. So he's saying, when he says is, mean when meaning is a zarf makan, is zarf zama. So basically he's saying recall when Moses prayed for water for his people. And who were his people? The Bani Israel, right?
Yeah.
And so we said to who? Musa, strike with your staff the stone. Now, did Musa had a staff?
Yeah.
And he used the same staff to make it the snake out of it.
Yeah.
And
Same.
he used the same staff to part the sea, remember?
Yeah.
Because he was a shepherd, and that's when he got the prophethood. He had that staff, and there is a dialogue between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He asked him, what do you do with this staff? Or what is it in your right hand? And then he explained it, that this is my staff and this is what I do with it. So then there gushed forth from it 12 springs. And every people knew, or every nation or every group knew its watering place. And the command was, eat and drink from the provision of Allah. Because remember, Allah provided them manu salwa, and then he provided them water, right?
Yeah.
And these are the basic necessities of a human being, that you need both food and the drink water. And he's saying, do not commit abuse on the earth. So after you getting these blessings from me, the thing you should not do is create corruption or spread corruption, right? So जब मूसा ने अपनी कौम के लिए खुदा से पानी मांगा, तो हमने कहा कि अपनी लाठी पत्थर पर मारो. उन्होंने लाठी मारी, तो फिर इसमें से 12 चश्मे फूट निकले, और तमाम लोगों ने अपना अपना घाट मालूम करके पानी पी लिया. हमने हुक्म दिया कि खुदा की अता फरमाई हुई रोजी खाओ और पियो, मगर जमीन में फसाद ना करते फिरना. ठीक है, अब उर्दू में और अच्छी लगी बात, या?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so before we jump into the grammar, let's quickly look at the tafsir. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, remember my favor on you when I answered the supplication of your prophet Musa alayhi salam, when he asked me to provide you with water. I made the water available for you, making it gush out through a stone. 12 springs burst out of that stone, a designated spring for each of your tribes. You eat from the manna and the quails and drink from the water that provided for you without any effort or hardship for you. You see, did they have to do anything to get those provisions? No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it really easy for them. So worship the one who did this for you. So in return, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was asking for their obedience. And do not act corruptly, making mischief on the earth, meaning do not return the favor by committing acts of disobedience that cause favors to disappear. Now, is there a lesson in this sentence for all of us?
Yes.
Right? Now, is this only true for them? Do we not have lots of blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ourselves?
Unlimited. Yeah.
Right. And then what is the lesson here? That the acts of disobedience causes the favors to disappear.
Yeah.
Right. So if we are, I'm not saying that It only happens when you are disobedient. There are always trials and imtihan from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we know that when we are acting not in a very obedient way, we can feel that certain things appear in our life.
Yeah.
Which were not there before. So, mashallah, better than me, inshallah, you can contemplate on that. So Ibn Abbas said that the children of Israel had a square stone that Musa was commanded to strike with his staff. And as a result, 12 springs burst out of that stone, 3 on each side. Each tribe was therefore designated a certain spring, and they asked to drink from their springs. They never had to travel from their area. They would find the same bounty in the same manner they had in the first area. This narration is part of a long hadith that An-Nisai, Ibn Jarir, and Ibn Abi Hatim recorded, radiallahu anhu, about the trials. The story is similar to the story in Surah Al Araf, chapter 7. Although the latter was revealed in Makkah, in Surah Al Araf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the third person when he mentioned the children of Israel to the Prophet and narrated what he favored them with. In this Surah Al Baqarah, which was revealed in Al-Medina, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directed his speech at the children of Israel. Further, Allah said in Surah Al-Araf, "Fam bajasat minhu husnata ashra aina," and there gushed forth out of it 12 springs. Okay, and then remember, this is the next verse which we are probably going to cover next week, inshallah. But this is what the background is. Are we good with this background? So far, so good.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know is it relevant or not, but what is the relationship between Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salam and Hazrat Musa alayhi salam?
Oh, well, they were not in the same time frame. Yaqub alayhi salam was the grandson of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and he was the son of Ishaq, right?
Yeah.
So you have to go into the Surah Yusuf to find out that how these people moved to Misr, remember? Because Musa alayhi salam was in Egypt. He was the prophet long after that, Hazrat Yusuf. He came to Misr. And if you want to know why the people with the children of Israel or the Yaqub alayhi salam was in Misr, because they migrated there in the time of Yusuf alayhi salam. You remember that surah, Surah Yusuf?
Yeah, but the nation Bani Israel is Yaqub alayhi salam nation.
His sons, yes.
Yeah. And now the Musa alayhi salam is leading them.
Yes. So he was the messenger, a prophet upon them, right?
Yeah.
And they were fleeing Misr when Pharaoh followed them, and then they crossed the river. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala drowned the army of Pharaoh. But after that, their disobedience did not decrease, and they kind of disobeyed him on every occasion. And for 40 years, they were abandoned, or they were punished to stay in the wandering in the land, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
And during that time, these were the favors Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided them. He made the skies, the shade upon them. He gave them the manna salwa, which was the protein and the carbohydrates. And then he also provided the water for them. Right? And the moral of the story is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding them, O children of Israel, remember my favors upon you. Okay. In other words, this is the charge sheet on them. Okay. So if you look at the grammar, so what is this tasqa, right? What is this tasqa Musa liqawmi? So you can tell that anything in this green is a verb. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Musa is a noun and it's a proper noun. Yeah?
Yeah.
And li, the letter lam, is
Preposition.
harf-jar. Yes?
Yeah.
Qawmihi is in the status of jar.
Yeah.
Yes? But the translation is his people. Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you also say people of his?
Yeah, you can say that.
Right? So this combination, li qawmihi, actually li is the jar part, and qawmihi the mudafun ilayh. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so his people is mudafun ilayh, and for is the lam, which is for the harf-jar. So this mudafun ilayh become majroor for this. That's one part. And we know that if there is a verb and then it is most likely a verbal sentence because it's starting with a verb, right? And in the verbal sentence, we have a fa'il, we have a maf'ul, and we have a jar majroor, which is muta'alliq.
Yeah.
Okay? Now the muta'alliq can also be a substitute for maf'ul bihi, right? Now, you are not familiar with this word, istasqa. So if you look at this word, so one thing you would know that this is from the family Salasi Mazid. Salasi Mazid Fi.
Yeah.
What is Salasi Mazid Fi? That in addition to the standard Fa, Ain, and Lam, there are additional letters. So in this
Alaf.
one, yes, in this one we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 additional letters. Istif'al. Okay.
It's not
And
3,
actually 4, isn't it?
3. It's the
There is alif too, right?
1,
1, 2, ta, and then alif, 4.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes.
4 additional letters in addition
Alaf,
to
Seen, Te, Alaf.
ta and alif, right? There's 2 alif, 1
Yeah.
sin, and 1 ta. So it becomes istaghfara, yastaghfiru. When you say istaghfara mean usne maghfirat mangi. He asked for forgiveness, right? So istasqa is the madi for istif'al, yeah? And yastasqi is the mudari. Is that good? Good enough?
yeah,
Yes.
If you say from the bab daraba, which is salasi mujarrad, only 3 letters, right? What are the root words? Sin, kaf, and ya. So do you see there is a sin, kaf, and ya? No additional letters, yes?
Taka.
Taka mean उसने पानी पिलाया,
Sabqa. In
किसी
Urdu
को
also,
पानी पिलाना.
the one
सका का मतलब होता है पानी पिलाना, और इस सस्ता का मतलब होता है
Saki
in Urdu.
पिलाने वाला,
Layata.
पिलाने वाला. जो साकी है, यहाँ पे लिखा है ना साकिन, तो इसको आप साकी भी कह सकते हैं उर्दू में. तो वो साकी वो होता है जिसने पानी पिलाया, या जो कोई मशरूब पिलाया, जिसने मशरूब पिलाने वाला. यस,
as we say namaz istasqa.
वो जब बारिश के लिए हम
बारिश के
इस्तिस्का
लिए.
क्यों, क्योंकि पानी मांगते हैं अल्लाह से कि अल्लाह ताला ऊपर से बारिश कर दे, राइट? तो इस्तिस्का का मतलब है आस्किंग फॉर वाटर. तो अगर आप इस बैकग्राउंड में जब आप ये देखेंगे वर्स, तो क्या लिखा हुआ है कि एंड व्हेन इस्तिस्का आस्क्ड फॉर वाटर फ्रॉम मूसा, आई मीन मूसा आस्क्ड फॉर इट फॉर हिज
Namaze
पीपल.
istasqa.
यस. तो अब ये बताएं कि इज दिस द फर्स्ट सीगा ऑफ मादी?
Yes.
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 Okay. If it's the Siga number 1 and we are looking for a file, what are the 2 possibilities?
Huwa or Musa.
It
Or
could
it's
be
outside.
inside or outside.
Out.
Yes.
It's
Outside.
Now,
outside.
in order to determine if it's an outside file, you need to look for something rafa. Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Musa.
file is a status of rafa. Yeah. So who can tell me what Musa is?
Musa is in
Musa
all
is-
3 states. It doesn't
Yes,
change.
it's a mabni.
Yeah.
So it's a non-flexible. So in all 3 states, it's going to be Musa, Musa, Musa. So can I take Musa here as like a
Fine.
rafa?
Yeah.
Yes.
So who is asking for water? Musa,
Musa.
alayhi salam. Okay, and who is he asking for? Li qawmihi, for his people. So in this, yes, in this combination, the muta'alliq is the maf'ul bihi in a way,
Mudaf ilayh.
right? Which is a combination of jar majroor. So the jar part is the letter lam, and qawmihi, his people, is the mudaf ilayh combination. Are you guys able to see? Ji.
If lam was not there, le qawme he, it could be qawme who. His
But in
qawm.
this, yes, but in this,
Yes.
you need the
Because
four.
of lam, it is now he.
Yeah. Yes.
No. Lam is still jar, right?
Yes.
So don't
Lam
confuse
is
that.
there and
Okay, so let's take a look here. Maybe you can see what I'm saying. Okay, look at this. Li qawmihi, lam is harf jar. Qawmihi is mudaf ilayh. You follow? This combination of mudaf and mudaf ilayh becomes the majroor part for this lam. Is that clear now?
It is clear. It is clear. The only thing is, I was saying that qawme he is because of lam. Is it becoming
And it's a
majroor?
muzafala too. Muzafala too.
Muzafila too, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So mudaf, even without the lam, it is mudafun ilayh.
Muzafala.
So
Yeah.
it cannot be qawmuhu. First of all, there is no such thing as qawmuhu, right? Or no, because the pronoun for nasab and jar is he. Or is it who? There is a who there.
Qawme who?
Yeah. Qawmuhu. If it's it's jar majroor, that's
Okay.
why.
Okay, but
Yeah.
jar majroor, that's why it's qawmi he. You're right.
Exactly,
Because it has to take kasra. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But are you guys able to see the sentence structure? That istasqa is the verb. The Musa is an outside file, and liqawmihi is jar majroor, which is a combination of mudaf, mudafun alayh, and harf jar, and it is muta'alliq. And in a way, Allah subhanahu Musa alayhi salam asked water for his people. So in return, or in short, they are the object of this conversation or this sentence. Agree?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, now let's look at the next sentence. So what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said? Fakulna. Is it Madi? And it is, and is it, it is 14, Siga number 14, right? So what is,
14,
what is
yes.
what is the file here?
Nahnu.
Na.
Nahnu, right? And idrib, is it like a fi'l amr?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying to who? Musa alayhi salam, right? So when and the order is given to the person in front of you, right? Second person.
Fakul
So-
nadrib.
So fakul nadrib, if you read it from connecting the noon with the dot, but if you say fakulna, and if you just read idrib, it will be idrib by itself. Okay. So who's the pronoun in adrib or idrib?
You, Anta.
Anta. Yes. Now, what is he saying? Bi asaka. So is the letter ba again a harf jar?
Yeah.
Yes.
And asaka is your staff? Is it
Yeah,
also
Murakkab is
mudafun
arfi.
alayh? Yes.
Muzafala.
Okay. So does it also a combination of that mudafun alayh become the majroor for the letter ba,
Yeah.
Yes.
which is muta'alliq? Now with that asa, where you should hit? Where do you hit?
Hajr.
Al-hajr.
Fajarat.
Okay, al-hajra. If I don't stop, it will be al-hajra. Yes.
Yeah.
Is al-hajra nasab?
That's
Nasab.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
nasab mean that's the maful bihi. Yes. So in this sentence structure, we have two verbal sentences. Okay. One is the fakulna, which has its own verb and a file. And then there is an additional verbal sentence inside, which is idrib anta, idrib biasakal hajr, which is a verbal sentence. And that verbal sentence is the maful bihi for fakulna.
Yeah.
Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Everyone?
Yeah, the verb kulna.
Fakulna or idrib?
Kul.
No. Fakulna is a verbal sentence, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has the verb and the file. Now it can have a positive, like he can possible maful bihi. So he said to, what did we said? We said it to do what? Idrib anta biasakal hajj. Right?
Yes.
So that itself is a long verbal sentence, which this whole verbal sentence is the maful bihi for the first action.
Right.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay. So now let's look at the third. So as a result of that action, what happened? Fan fajarat.
Fajarat.
Okay. Min husnata ashrata aina. Okay. Now fan fajarat is a feminine.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Is it siga number 4?
4. Form 4. Yeah.
Right? So in this case of figure number 4 and is Madi, can we have an outside file?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Outside. Yes.
Okay. Is Husnata Ashra mean 12? Yes.
Yep.
So 12 in Arabic language is mudaf, mudafun ilayh.
Yes.
Okay. And these counting outside of other than greater than 10 and less than 20, they are all mabni. That means husnata ashra, we can take it as rafa.
Yeah.
Right? So can you tell me that who's the file for fanfajarat? Husnata ashra.
Husnata ashrata ayn.
Ashrata.
Right? Now, if I say husnata ashra, then gush for the 12 from it, you don't know what gushed out. So then you clarify by saying aina,
Aina.
these springs.
Things.
So that thing in Arabic is known as tamiz. Okay.
No, yes, the miss.
Yeah. So tamiz mean you had a doubt without that word. If that word was not there, you would say 12 of what? Then to clarify 12 of what, aina was told so that you know 12 of the springs. Fanfajarat minhu. Now is minhu jar majroor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct. Husnata ashra is the file, which is a combination of mudaf, mudafun ilayh, and aina is the explanation of this mudaf, mudafun ilayh, that what 12 came out from it. Fanfajarat, from the stone, you know, the way he hit this the asa. Are we good with this explanation?
So far.
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's
So
good.
let's quickly go and look at some of the words so that you can also benefit from that. So fakulna is from qala yaqul. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one is we have already seen it many times. Okay. Then idrib, let's say, and it is from bab daraba. Yes.
Yes.
Darab ka matlab hota hai strike karna. Yeah.
Yes.
So daraba yadribu idrib. Daribun, the person who is hitting or striking. Rubun is the thing he's striking, and the action of striking is darbun.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
All right. So we got idrib out of the way. Al hajar we know. Fan fajarat. Okay. Is from another family called infi'alun. Okay. We had the if'alun family, and this is the infi'alun family. Okay. And it is from inkalaba yankalibu. What are the root words? Fa, jim, and ra. It will become anfajara, yanfajiru, anfajir, munfajirun, munfajirun, munfajarun, infijaran. Okay. So if this one is on the pattern of infial, and we will call it the Salasi Mazid Fi family, meaning
Yes.
it
Two are
has
More than 3 letters.
1, 2, and 3 extra letters to
Yeah.
Fa, Ain, and Lam. Making sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in our Saturday class, inshallah, we will be going in detail about all of these families. But as we come across them, at least now we recognize them, what is going on. Yeah. If you make on the pattern of Nasara, then it will become Fajara, Yafjuru, Ufjur, Fajirun, Mafjurun, Fajran. Got it? Okay. All right. Then what else we got? Husnat Ashra, we don't have information about that. Aina is, again, it's a noun, it's meaning springs, जिसे उर्दू में चश्मा कहते हैं. Alima, we know what alima is, right? From Samia Yasmau. Yeah? Okay. What else? Kullu Mashrabahum is from Samia Yasmau Shariba. Yashrabu, Ishrib, Sharibun, Mashrubun. Mashrub wo cheez hoti hai jisko piya jata hai, yes?
Yes.
The thing you drink is called mashrub, right?
Mashroob.
And Sharabun and Sharibun and Sharbun is the action of drinking. Yes? Okay. So far so good, guys?
Yes.
So far, so good.
Okay, alhamdulillah. And you can read this on your own time. You will get more information, which is basically the details of this, right? So he's saying ismi marfu. Why? Because we said that the counting numbers other than 10 or more than 10 and between 10 and 20, especially from 11, 12, they are known as ism marfu, or they are in the status of rafa, and they are also mudaf alayh. Okay, so qad alima kullu unasim mashrabahum. Okay, so at the same token, we note qad is indeed something happened already, something they know how to do it. Alima is the first siga.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Alima.
Alima is first siga, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, we have a situation that there could be a file, outside file.
Yes.
Okay, so kullu is a special kind of mudaf, right? Now, is kullu in the status of rafa?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and because of the mudaf, the unasim, which is the mudafun ilayh, is it supposed to be in the status of jar?
Jar.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So here unasim is the jama of nas, yes, or ins, yes. So then we have kullu unasim. This will be mudafun alayh, and this combination will be considered status of rafa. So then kullu unasim is the file. Who did the action of knowing? The tribe. All the people in one tribe, or all the tribes, they knew the place of their drinking. Mashrabahum is mudafun ilayh. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
Okay, so alima is the verb, kullu unasim is the file, which is a combination of mudafun ilayh, and mashrabahum is another mudafun ilayh combination, and that becomes the maf'ul bihi. So what?
मफूल फी नहीं वो कहेंगे, इसको कहेंगे
Well, there
Mashrabah.
are many definitions of maf'ul. There could be maf'ul bihi, maf'ul fihi, and there are a bunch of others. But in general, we are calling it maf'ul bihi because that's the object of the action of alima. What did they know? That everybody know about the place. What they were supposed to know was the place of their drinking. So it's called maf'ul bihi. So there is a specific definition of maf'ul fihi. I don't remember it on top of my head right now, but we can look into it maybe some other time. Yeah.
Brother Abid, question on use of qad here.
Yeah.
Indeed. Is there any explanation where to use qad and where to use inna?
Oh, qad is normally used for madi. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is one of the variations we looked at in a lot of detail when we were doing.
I remember, but I forgot the difference. Where to use qad and where to use inna, because both are translated as indeed.
Yes.
Brother
here,
Abed, it is from lakat.
Lakat is even more emphasis,
More
like
emphasis.
for surely.
If you remove now, then kat is from there.
Yes, qad and laqad is used to create emphasis. But if you want to differentiate between this and inna, qad के बारे में ये बताऊं कि कोई चीज के बारे में कोई शक नहीं रहा कि वो हो चुकी. For example, qad qamatis salah. So you don't say, you don't say inna qamatis salah. You say qad qamat lagi. Namaz khadi ho chuki. Like there is no more doubt in it.
So anything in the past, whatever has happened.
It's a done deal. It's like a done deal. It's confirmed, right?
Can we say it in Urdu tahqiq?
Yes, that's what in the previous books you can see the word tahqiq there. But anybody who is like from our generation and who do not know this kind of Urdu, you will say, what is tahqiq?
Yes.
Right? So we will say beshak.
Tahqiq is investigation. That doesn't fit here.
Well, tahqiq, yes, another meaning of, but it is from haq, tahqiq also from haq. So anyways, the point is now as we are growing and we are becoming more and more in touch with the Quran, new translations are coming to cater to the newer generation because our language is always evolving, right? So आज से 50 साल पहले तो तहकीक का किसी को पता होगा, लेकिन आज के किसी बच्चे को पूछे तहकीक क्या है तो उसे तो पता ही नहीं होगा कि तहकीक होती क्या है, right? So qad का मतलब है बेशक, वाकई, indeed, which is उर्दू में हम एक और चीज भी यूज करते हैं, क्या कहते हैं, खैर अभी मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा. Anyway, any questions about this? So you notice that now, since we know the patterns, at the end of the day, we are looking for a verbal sentence or a nominal sentence. And in between doing that, we are applying our other knowledge. Like if it's a noun, if it's a harf jar, if it's a mudaf, mudafun alayh, are we creating emphasis? Are we using rafa, nasab, jar? You see what I'm saying? Guys?
Yes,
Parts of his speech.
Yeah.
Yes.
So alhamdulillah, I'm sure that you could do this on your own sometime if you want to. Do you guys ever challenge yourself? Anyone?
Yes.
So Sister Lubna is doing it. Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Definitely we need to do it, yeah. Otherwise,
Okay, all right.
forget things, yeah.
Well, I'm happy that at least you do it with me, but it will be great if you guys can do this on your own and maybe tell me someday that, Brother Abid,
Inshallah.
I did it, and look, maybe you can volunteer to do one verse next time and I be the student and you be the teacher. Okay, so after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Kulu, which is a harf fi'l amr. Yeah. And here the file is antum, right? All of you. So all of you eat. And then ataf, washrabu, and drink. Yeah.
Kulu is siga number 3. Kulu.
Right. No, siga number 3. You're right. Yeah. But this is amr.
No, the fele amar
Yes.
is not 3.
Yeah. So this is siga number 9.
7.
Yeah.
9, 8. 8?
8 or 9? 9.
9.
9. Right. So kulu is 9 and washrabu is 9.
9.
And they are both actions, and they are both have the file which is antum, and that is connected with the waw, which is the ataf. There are two commands: eat and drink. From where? Min mir rizqillahi. Now rizqillahi is mudaf mudafun ilayh.
From
Yes.
provision of Allah.
Provision of Allah. Now min is a harf jar, so it is the harf jara, and the majroor part is a combination of mudaf mudafun ilayh,
Definitely.
and that becomes muta'alliq about kulu and washrabu, right? So these are the provisions of Allah. What? The food and the drink. Yeah. So it is also a verbal sentence. Yes. Okay. So the next part, or the last part, wala ta'saw, and the wala is and do not. So it is a negative command. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So
And
it is
do
the
not.
fele nahi. Fele nahi was the don't do it. So the amar is do it, and the nahi is don't do it. Right.
Yeah.
What you don't do, and again, who's the pronoun here? Antum, all of you.
You, yeah.
Yes, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to the Bani Israel, right? So, and what is it? What he's saying? Don't do ta'saw, right? Let's look at that word from the Arabic perspective so that we get more insight into it. Let's look at this. So it is from Ain Sa Wow, and is from Fataha. We know what that means. Okay, and it is acting wickedly, right? So asa, ya, saw, su, or saw, asin, masuun, asu, one, as one, as af one. Yeah.
Masvun.
Yeah, ma, su, one, right?
Masuvun aswan.
Us one. Good job. So meaning is acting wickedly or with the intention of creating trouble, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always saying that don't do this, act wickedly in the earth. And then hal, what is the hal?
Mufsidun.
Mufsidin. And what do we know about hal? That we explain in what condition. So when you're going to act wickedly, what will be the result of that? There will be corruption. There will be fasad. So mufsidin is a noun, is a jama of mufsid. Yes?
Yeah.
Right? जैसे मुस्लिम होता है, मुस्लिम Muslimaini, Muslimina. Yeah.
Yeah.
So mufsidin, same thing. More than two.
Plural.
Mufsid. Yes. So it's a plural, right? Mufsidina. That's the hal of what action? Taqsaw. Got it?
Is Brother Abid mufsid is masdar?
Mufsid is ismul fa'il,
Okay.
right? Because it's a noun, mufsid, right?
Fasid is
Yeah, fasid is also the person who does the fasad, right?
fasad. Mufsid is
Yeah, ismul fa'il, I would say.
Ismul fa'il.
Yes. Remember how we said that abid is the ismul fa'il? Well, we can look at mufsidin and let's see what I get from the book here. Let's see. Mufsidin. Okay. So it is ismul fa'il. You see that? Mufsidun. So this is ismul fa'il and it is from bab ifal. Aslama yuslim.
okay.
And that is what the pattern of ismul fa'il for salasi mazid fi. If it was salasi mujarrad, then it would have been fasid. Yeah, look at this. When it's on the pattern of nasara, then it's fasid. Yeah, got it?
Yes.
Okay. So with that, let's quickly look at our Urdu. وَإِذِ اسْتَسْقَىٰ مُوسَىٰ لِقَوْمِهِ فَقُلْ نَضْرِبْ بِعَصَاكَ الْحَجَرَ. और जब हजरत मूसा ने अपनी कौम के लिए पानी मांगा तो हमने कहा अपनी लाठी को पत्थर पर मारो. सो वाव इज हरफे अतफ, इज जो है इसमें ज़र्फ ज़मा माजी के वाक़े से पहले आता है. इसका मानी होता है जब. ठीक है. इस्तस्का फेल मादी है, वाहिद मुज़क्कर गायब यानी सीगा नंबर 1. इसका मतलब होता है इस्तस्का यस्तस्की मादी एंड मुदारे, मसदर होता है इस्तिस्काउन पानी मांगना. यस. किसने मांगा पानी? मूसा अलैहिस्सलाम. हजरत मूसा किसके लिए मांगा? लिकौमी. राइट. ही जो है वो मुदाफ इलैही है, ज़मीर वाहिद मुज़क्कर गायब, अपनी कौम के लिए. फिर आगे क्या हुआ? फकुलना में फा जो है वो है देयरफॉर, thus, so, we said. कुलना इज वी सेड. हरफे फा इज हरफे अतफ, कुलना इज फेल मादी जमा मुतकल्लिम. व्हाट इज जमा मुतकल्लिम? फर्स्ट पर्सन प्लूरल. काला यकूलू मस्दर कौलन, कहना, हमने कहा. तो हमने क्या कहा? इदरिब मारो. कौन मारे? तुम मारो. कौन? मूसा अलैहिस्सलाम. पहले अमर वाहिद मुजक्कर हादिर. कहां से? दरबा यदरिबू. मस्दर क्या है? दरबन, मारना. तू मार. You hit or you strike. Bi asaka. So the letter ba is the harf jar. Asa is the object, and I mean the thing. And whose object? Whose asa? Your. So that is jar. This is mudaf mudafun alayh and become majroor to letter ba. Lathi. अपनी लाठी. अपनी लाठी को. ये को कहां से आया? लेटर बा से. यहाँ पे बा का क्या ट्रांसलेशन है उर्दू में? को. राइट. अल हजरा चट्टान, पत्थर, जो उस वक्त हजरत मूसा के करीब थी. राइट. सिस्टर होमा, आर यू विद अस टुडे?
Yes, alhamdulillah, here it is.
And I'm sure that you're following. Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
Okay, good. So फन फजरत मिन हुस्नता अशरत आईना. तो इससे 12 चश्मे फूट निकले. फन फजरत, फा इज द हर्फ अतफ, इन फजरत इज फ्रॉम बाब इन फ़ाल, एंड इसका मतलब होता है फूट निकलना, बहना. तो वो फूट निकले यानी दे स्प्लिट, the stone split and it just gushed forth. मिनहु जार मजरूर, उससे. मिनहु किससे? पत्थर में से. कितने? इसनता अशरा 12. आईना चश्मे. कितने चश्मे निकले? 12. कितने लोग, कितने ट्राइब थे? 12. तो अल्लाह ताला ने उनकी मदद के लिए ये भी किया कि उनको एक ही चश्मा नहीं दिया, वरना उन्होंने क्या करना था? हर वक्त उनकी लड़ाई होनी थी कि ये मेरे वक्त है पानी पीने का या मेरा है. वो आपस में उन्होंने झगड़ा करा. तो अल्लाह ने वो किस्सा ही खत्म किया. उनकी तबीयत को देखते हुए उनको 12 ही दिए कि भाई तुम अपना अपना घाट चुन लो ताकि तुम आपस में ना लड़ो एक दूसरे से. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर भी तर्जमा क्या किया है, तहकीक, यस, कलमा तहकीक कलाम है, कलाम में जोर पैदा करने के लिए आता है, तहकीक यानी यकीनन, कोई शक नहीं, बेशक। अलिमा का मतलब होता है कि उसने जान लिया, कहाँ से आया, अलिमा यालमु इल्मन या समिया यस्माउ। कुल्लु उनासिन, कुल्लु इज मुदाफ, इसका मतलब होता है तमाम, उर्दू में अरबी में कुल्लु तमाम कहते हैं ना हम लोग, कुल्लु तमाम सुना होगा आपने, कुल्लु तमाम, कुल्लु का मतलब होता है ऑल, एवरीथिंग, तमाम। और उनासिम इज हर, क्या मतलब हुआ कि हर कबीले ने अपना घाट को पहचान लिया और जान लिया। सो कुल्लु उनासिम इज मुदाफ, मुदाफ इलैह, लोगों जमा का सीगा है, उनासिम इज जमा का सीगा, राइट। And is it okay? So let's not worry about it. From the इसका वाहिद है इंसान या इंसुन, यहाँ ग्रोह और कबीले के मानी में आया, यानी हर कबीला। Get it? Okay. मशरबहुम, तो मशरबा is the noun, right? And hum is the pronoun. Their place of drinking, पीने की जगह, घाट। अब उर्दू में हम घाट यूज करते हैं ना कि भाई जानवरों के लिए यूज करते हैं कि घाट पे पानी पिला लो, राइट। लेकिन घाट का मतलब ये नहीं होता कि वो सिर्फ जानवरों के लिए, अगर वो कोई जगह है जहाँ पे पानी है तो वहां से इंसान भी पी सकते हैं, राइट, तो उसको घाट कहते हैं। तो दैट इज मुदाफ, मुदाफ इलैह। उसके बाद कुलू वशरबू मिन रिज़्क़िल्लाहि वला तासऊ फिल अर्दिल मुफ़सिदीन, अल्लाह के रिज़्क़ से तुम खाओ और पियो और जमीन में फसाद फैलाने वाले बनकर मत फिरो। करेक्ट। कुलू फेले अम्र जमा मुज़क्कर, अकला या कुलू से खाना, तुम सब खाओ, वशरबू तुम सब पियो, ठीक है, इसका मतलब होता है पीना। कहाँ से, मिर रिज़्क़िल्लाहि, अल्लाह के रिज़्क़ से। या फेले नहीं जमा मुज़क्कर, हाजिर क्या है, असिया या सा मस्दर असियन, फिरना तुम मत फिरो। फिल अर्दी, यहाँ पे अर्फ जर, और अर्द इज मजरूर, जमीन में, किस सूरत में, किस हाल में, फसाद फैलाने वाले बन के। Got it?
Yes.
So alhamdulillah, this is what we got today. And if you want to look at all these tools, we now mashallah know the grammatical analysis. You also know a little bit of tafsir about this. We got a lot of vocabulary out of it. We learned a bunch of new families like istaf'al, infa'al, right? And they're all very handy and useful because they get another meaning to the sentence. And then alhamdulillah, we looked at the sarf saghir. Now, when we talk about sarf saghir, we are basically talking about what are the root letters, what family it belongs to, and then we want to know minimum the Madi pattern, and we only looking for Siga number 1, Mudare pattern, Siga number 1. Amr is how to make the command for the first person, for the singular, male, and then what is the Ismul Fa'il and what is the Ismul Maf'ul, and minimum we need to know the Masdar. Are we getting this information and again, and your mind is now automatically thinking about these?
Yes.
Yes. So inshallah, jazakallah khairan. If there is no questions, we can call it a night. And jazakallah khairan for coming. And may Allah accept it from all of us. Anything correct I said is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any mistakes I made is purely my fault. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us for any shortcomings. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Okay, bhai, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Jazakallah.
Bhaiya.